Gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Brooks, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not a computer security expert, but I can read the words of those who are. The Science, Space, and Technology Committee staff prepared for members' use a document called Hearing Charter. And according to our hearing charter, in order to use HealthCare.gov, American citizens will be asked to input or verify this type of information: birth and Social Security numbers for all family members, household salary, debt information, home mortgage information, credit card information, place of employment, previous addresses, and the lot. So when I see that, that causes me to pause. It causes me to have concern, because that's a lot of personal information. I'm sure that some criminal identity theft type of individual would consider a dream, a wealth of information to get their hands on. Which brings me to the benefit of some of your written testimony, which of course is more extensive than your oral testimony. And if the committee will bear with me, I'm going to read from some of the written testimony that we received before we heard the oral testimony. Quote, "The vast amount of code also means applying industry standard security practices is a task that can have no real chance of success at present. No real chance of success at present." Quote, "The first major issue is the lack of an inability to conduct an end-to-end security test on the production system. Obamacare," quote, "also creates massive opportunity for fraud, scams, deceptive trade practices, identity theft, and more," end quote. Another one, quote, "The lack of effective security controls has created the conditions for massive fraud and hacking," end quote. Yet another one, quote, "The most troubling insider threat aspect would be the lack of a personnel policy that required background checks for individuals with access to PII, personal information, or sensitive information systems." During testimony on November 6, 2013, Secretary Sebelius admitted that convicted felons could be hired as navigators and that no federal policy existed to require background checks. So we've got the insider threat. Another one, quote, "There are clear indicators that even basic security was not built into the HealthCare.gov website." Another one, quote, "There are systemic and serious concerns with the HealthCare.gov website. Based on our experience in large web applications such as this, there are a few options available in order to address the security concerns with the website," and the list just goes on and on and on. It seems to me that the Obamacare website is the mother lode for identity theft, internet fraud, and other criminal activity. It is, quite frankly, frightening and outrageous that the White House so callously and cavalierly exposes so many Americans to risk of debilitating financial damage. And all of this brings me to my questions. If HealthCare.gov identity theft occurs, an American citizen is financially damaged, what recourse does that citizen have under Obamacare against the federal government for compensation for financial losses incurred because we American citizens used the website we were told to use under Obamacare? Can any of y'all describe to me what remedies, what recourse, what compensation can a citizen receive from the federal government for use of the website we're mandated to use that results in identity theft or other adverse effects?
My very quick answer is, what form do I fill out to get my identity back? Because there is no way to do that. You can give me a credit card, you can fix my car, but once my identity is taken, you know, how do I get that back? That is probably one of the key things that has concerned me just from a technology standpoint is the protection from an identity theft standpoint. We can fix a lot of other stuff, but your identity is what makes you who you are.
Dr. Chang, do you know of any compensation that a citizen who's been wronged can get from the government for use of Obamacare's website?
You know, I think I would just maybe respond sort of generally that, you know, there is this notion in credit card fraud that you basically hold the consumers harmless. This is very complex. You know, they talk about 500 million lines of code, all this kind of scripting and stuff. It's very complex, and to expect the users to have any sort of deep understanding of it, you know, you might say, gee, it's sort of like a credit card. You kind of hold them harmless.
I've only got 30 seconds left, so I'm going to conclude with one quick question. Given HealthCare.gov security issues, and assuming for the moment that you would be personally responsible for all damages incurred, if any, from your advice, would any of you advise an American citizen to use this website as the security issues now exist? Yes or no?
No, sir, not this time.
Same answer.
Same answer.
Yeah, I wouldn't yet.
So it's a unanimous no, don't use the website because of the security risks.
I would say that the security would have to be studied a lot more carefully before I would agree to that.
And
Thank you
disclosed.
for your insight. I hope the American people are listening. With that, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. You elicited a unanimous response on that question.